The most well-known car I ever had was something very, very ordinary. It was a Triumph Herald estate. I'd heard about this car that was being sold through a provincial auction in the UK, and it had been rumoured that it had been one of the cars in the Beatles Abbey Road album cover. That's the famous picture with the four Beatles crossing the zebra crossing, and in the background were a couple of cars, one of which is a Volkswagen Beetle that's in the Volkswagen factory in Germany, and then there was this Triumph Herald, baby blue, parked to the left-hand side of the road. I bought the car for a small amount of money, and I set about several months of research to prove this was the car. We were running into difficulties trying to prove the car and its provenance. The big difficulty being we couldn't actually see the registration number in the photo. But then one day I saw a different photo from the same day, and I was able to ascertain there was a man standing in front of the Herald wearing a brown tweed jacket. My research led me to believe this was a lift engineer working on a house in St John's Wood at the time, and I was able to track down his widow, who confirmed it was indeed her husband standing there at the time in their car. Further inquiries led me to one of the man's daughters who lived in Australia, another daughter lived in the States, and the testimony of all these three people confirmed that this was the very car in the Beatles Abbey Road film. And ultimately I did enough to convince Jeff Dunham, the American car collector in Los Angeles, that it was the car.
There was a very popular musical group in England when I was a lad, and you recently worked with one of them.
Well, that could only be the Beatles.
Okay. And there's a famous photo of them crossing a road.
Ah, yes,
And
in
this
Abbey
car-
Road.
Abbey Road.
Yeah.
This car is in the picture. So this is the actual car.
I got a great bit of publicity at the time, really enjoyed having it, talking about it, featured in the world press, on TV, and now it's part of the Dunham collection.